Hello, this is a video of a Bosendorfer 130cm tall upright piano, 1993, currently in stock. The piano's in practically perfect condition with really only very slight surface scratches. The piano's had hardly any use at all, as you can see by the hammers here. You can just about see the marks of the strings as it's just been played in, and there's three string marks on the hammers, but the piano's not really been used at all, just played in. You can hear the tone, very rich, very warm, an extremely good bass. Bosendorfer strings are very high tension and very thick strings, and it gives a really rich sound. The string length of these bass strings, on an upright, the string length is often greater than a small grand. In fact, the string length on the Bosendorfer is about 125 centimeters long on the longest bass string, and this is a Model M Steinway, and we can see it's almost exactly 125 centimeters too, so exactly the same length as a 5'7" Steinway grand. The bass strings on this Steinway aren't so thick either, so the bass is not quite as rich as the Bosendorfer. Very nice piano. Very beautiful piano. This is a fully restored Steinway grand. Let's compare that again to the Bosendorfer. See how thick the strings are there. In fact, they're so high tensile that you have to be very careful when you tune these Bosendorfers. You can get string breakage if you're not used to them. That's just about the best upright you can get. Having said that, the grand is still better in some respects, because the touch, for instance, as I play that, it comes back. See, it's regulated really well, but the hammer pulls back, and if you want to repeat, it's got a distance to repeat. If you compare that to a grand, for instance, on this 4-hit grand here, you see we hit the string, and then as you release the back check, the hammer pops up to right next to the string, because it's got a lever holding it there. You'll see another video about differences between grand and upright actions that we've got, but that shows you that the grand action is always going to have more control, and the keys are longer, so you get better leverage too. Another difference on a grand, this is an upright, this is the Bosendorfer with 3 pedals, as you can see. Now, a grand also has 3 pedals. This is a Kawai, but the left hand pedal, which is mostly the soft pedal, is a half blow pedal here on an upright, so it just pushes the hammers further forward, and it slightly enables you to control the soft playing a bit better, but basically stopping you from playing so loud. On the grand, this is an unicorda pedal, which literally means one string. In the olden days, pianos just had 2 strings, so the hammer would move over like that and hit one string out of the 2. And now it should be adjusted so that a different part of the hammer hits the string. So I don't know if you can see the string marks on the hammers there, but the idea is to get the hammer so that when it hits the string, it's not the part that normally hits, and then that can be softened, that can be toned and softened, so it's a different part, gives a different tone. You can hear slightly more biting sound there, so that's an advantage of a grand too. So if you're a really serious professional, it's best to get a grand if you can. Having said that, about the best upright you can get is this Bosendorfer. There's one other aspect that I didn't mention between grands and uprights, and that is that the dampers are quite a long way down on I'll show you what I mean. The hammer's hitting there, the damper's below it, and shutting off below it. Whereas on a grand, you've got the damper almost above the hammer, so you obviously can't do that on an upright, and so you get a better cut off. Having said that, the dampers here on this Bosendorfer are very long at the break point. Look at the damper there. There's the damper. Compare that to this Knight here. You see the difference? There's the damper, much shorter. Having said that, the Knights are excellent pianos, and the damping goes right up to C here, which is unusual. Only Steinway does that. The Bosendorfer damping doesn't go so far. Having said that, most pianos go up to this is F. This is further than most pianos, which will go up to about E or D sharp. So that's pretty good damping as well. Actually, there's so many features about this piano I could mention. The agraffs here, individual agraffs, is really helpful. It gets the strings exactly in the right line. Much better for tuning, much better for holding the tuning. Hello, we sold this Bosendorfer 130 upright about a month ago, and this is the free tuning and general inspection. The client complained about 2 things. One is that the dampers were a bit noisy when they were lifting off. This is quite a common problem when the piano's been sat for a long time not being used. So we've lubricated underneath here on the bar where it should lift the dampers off, and that solved the problem. And secondly, the client was saying the notes are a bit heavy in the bass, and the problem is that with these very tall upright pianos with long strings on high quality German pianos and Austrian pianos, you do get a lot of resonance. And in order to cut it off, you do need very, very good damping. So I checked the damper lift off, and in actual fact, it should be lifting off in the treble first and the bass second, just slightly peeling, as it were, from the treble to the bass. And in fact, it was lifting off earlier in this tenor and bass area. I've already started working on this, and it occurred to me to do the video, but I'm making the bass dampers lift off slightly later, and that means that when you press the keys, they lift off later, and that does make the touch a little bit lighter. But they have really strong springs to dampen the sound as necessary. But obviously, if the later they lift off, the better. If they lift too late, then they won't really lift off properly. So you have to be careful not to make them too late. But we're definitely able to improve it quite a bit. Bending the damper wires can make quite a significant difference to the touch. If we watch this, look, see those two hammers moving at the same time. That damper on the right is lifting off earlier than the one on the left. I can't see the one. There we are. See the one lifting late. You can't have it lifting too late, otherwise it doesn't pull away from the string enough. In fact, at this point, this is the lowest of the steel strings before you get to the copper ones. You can't really pull off any later than that, because as you can see at the bottom, it's not going to clear the string properly. To bend the damper wire, you need a tool like this one, which it catches the damper wire in there. It's a bit awkward, but you can do it. And in fact, on that one that we just looked at earlier, the dampers was actually pulling off too early then, so we're going to have to adjust the spoon down here instead. So once you've got them all in line, they're all pulling off together, then you may need to adjust some of the spoons down here as well. Same tool to use for the spoons here. So use the same tool for the spoons, just grabbing the spoon right at the bottom, and same with the damper wires, you have to grab the damper wire at the bottom. Alright, so now we've regulated the bass dampers so they pull off at the same time as the treble dampers, as you can see here. Now, as we say, these lower tenor ones here that are the lower steel strings before we come to the copper ones, we can't get them pulling off. We can't get them pulling off with the rod any later, because they won't pull off enough to take the damper off the string. But we can get a little bit better with the spoon, but infinitesimally, really. There's not a lot of leeway there, because, as I say, the damper must pull off. At that point, it's really important that the damper pulls right out. So we're going to work on the spoons a bit now, just to see if we can get a little bit better. But I think at that point, we just have to accept the fact they're going to feel slightly heavier. So this is a problem, trying to weight it so it's the equal weight right throughout as you press your finger on the key. But we get them as late as we possibly can. As I say, the main problem is you must make sure that the strings here, the bass, really strong, really resonant bass strings here, do dampen properly. They resonate tremendously, so they must shut off, and therefore you've got very strong springs here in the bass. Really resonant pianos, really tall pianos and high quality pianos will have an echo, a residual echo, because of the resonance and the very powerful tone. So on a less sort of resonant piano, such as Yamaha, you won't get that echo. But on a really high quality piano like this Bosendorfer, you're stuck with a slight echo. But really, you don't notice it. The front panel's off now, so you're noticing it a lot. It's the best damping we can get. Now, the client who bought this piano is an organist, comes in Cornwall. The piano's gone down to Cornwall, and we've gone down to give it its first free tuning and check over. And as you can see, we fitted book holders here, because with obviously thick books and hymn books and so on, you need book holders. You can't put book holders on some modern pianos like the Yamaha U1, U3. This is too thin. On Forex, which we really encourage people to buy, the new Forex is solid wood, whereas Yamaha's plastic is a solid wood music stand, and you can fit book holders on, and we also put these on to stop them damaging the polyester. New pianos tend not to have book holders for that very reason, that they're worried about the polyester getting damaged. So that's a free tuning and check on a Bosendorfer 130 upright piano, which we sold to a client in Cornwall. He's an organist and wanted these book holders fitted, and really tremendous resonant piano. Unfortunately, we don't get enough of these Bosendorfers. We're we're searching everywhere for them, and if you want a Bosendorfer, let us know and we'll let you know when we get one in. There's many more Steinways, high quality Steinways available than there are Bosendorfers in the UK, but I really appreciate these pianos. Tremendous resonance. Thank you very much for listening.